do these. Hazards, they become normal, they become unnoticed with this day-to-day routine that we are very used to, and we're very efficient at our jobs, and sometimes hazards creep in and we just don't see them. The right circumstances can lead to incidents and accidents, loss of people, and of course loss of financial stability. So I guess my question is, how come you guys care about safety? What makes you guys care about safety or want to be safe? You guys,
Less paperwork to fill out.
yeah. Yeah, I think for me, it's definitely, I don't want Michelle to get that 2 a.m. knock on the door, somebody in the uniform, Dwayne there. I don't want her to go through that, and I don't want to be a part of having to do that. I have talked to some people, going through my safety training, and even though I've never personally known somebody who has died in an accident, talking to people who've been through them, it's a pretty surreal experience. So yeah, I don't care to go through that either. So anyway, today we're going to discuss fatigue again. We discussed this a little over a year ago. Just some myths that I think we have all told ourselves at one point or another. Fatigue is nothing more than a frame of mind. I can tough this out. I've been trained for it. We've always done it this way. And I love the one, I can tell when I'm tired. Fortunately or unfortunately, science has shown that none of these are true. So what is fatigue? It's a subjective feeling of tiredness, which is distinct from weakness and has a gradual onset. So it's something that we can't really measure. It's something that is internal. There are no physical signs to tell you when you're tired. So it's really a feeling. But it affects you, your state of alertness, attentiveness, mental and physical performance. So all things that we're concerned about in our jobs. So, fatigue is going to decrease how coordinated you are, how quickly you're able to react to something, your situational awareness, so you're not as aware of what's going on around you. And I think these last ones, reasoning, judgment, human error, and productivity are all a big deal for us. Being more prone to making errors, it can be pretty significant in what we're doing, whether it's taking care of patients or being safe, being good crew members and taking care of each other. So just a little bit of physiology for this. So we actually sleep in 90-minute periods. So we go through phases of non-REM sleep and REM sleep, and we actually go through this cycle 4 to 5 times a night. So there are 3 stages to non-REM, and this is essentially where your body's starting to slow down, your temperature is coming down, your heart rate's going down, you're moving less and less, and after approximately 45 minutes to an hour, you move into REM sleep. And this is where scientists think that a lot of repair takes place in your brain, although not a lot is known why we actually go into REM or why we even require sleep. There are apparently some sadists out there who think it's fun to study these people. So some research has been done. Scientists have taken people and not allowed them to get into REM sleep. So anytime they have these lifters on their heads, they get close to REM sleep, they wake these subjects up. And so after a week of this, they found that these guys actually, there's an impaired ability to learn complex tasks. So we don't know why it works or how, why we need it, but it negatively impacts us when we don't do it. So, we always talk about biological needs, air, water, food, shelter, love. One thing we don't talk about as a biological need is sleep. Sleep is a biological need. It's something your body requires. Typically about 8 hours a night. Some people are more, some people are less. I wish I was one of the people that were less, and I wish I was one of the people that wake up. So your circadian rhythm, this is what controls many of the hormones and processes that happen in your body. So it is a biological process, and it takes approximately 24 hours to complete one cycle. It allows an organism to capitalize on its environment. This is kind of one of those theories. It's what they think is that an organism, if you think human beings, we're not made to be predators at night. We're at rest, so we have good binocular vision, so we can do things more in the day than we can at night. So our clock was initially designed to work better in the daytime. So it keeps us awake in the day. We can hunt, we fish, we can scavenge, we can do all those things. And then at night, when we're no longer the top of the food chain, our body wants to go to sleep to keep us safe and keep us kind of out of sight. So it's an endogenous process, which means everything is internal. We always talk about light cues and stuff, but we actually have a pacemaker in our body so if I put you guys in a dark room for a week, your pacemaker would actually stay at 24 hours. So light cues and temperature cues will shift our pacemaker, but it maintains a 24-hour cycle. So that's external cueing is typically light and temperature, and that's why when you travel from state to state, country to country, eventually you get past that jet lag. So something that's observed in plants, animals, fungi, and even cyanobacteria, which is a very primitive bacteria. There's a little picture here. What your cycle looks like. So as the day goes, morning, we start to have a rise in our cortisol levels. And you can see, this doesn't show it very well, but as the day goes on, there are different ebbs and flows of how awake we are, alert we are. We have some circadian lows, which we'll go through in a bit. So where's all this located? In the suprachiasmatic nucleus. It's a set of specialized cells that are located in your hypothalamus. Those receive light information through the optic nerve, and that's passed on to the pineal gland, which actually secretes melatonin and will put you to sleep. So that's where it's located. So we're not really designed to work at night. We talked about the circadian rhythm, and it's not something we can overcome easily. Lights have created an unusual problem for our society in that we cannot work at night. We've had, like I said, we're not designed to work then, but anyway, so we're a 24-hour society now. Just know your rhythm cannot adjust quickly. There are health consequences to kind of messing with your circadian rhythm, trying to bump it up, move it behind, trying to stay up all night, tough it out. And these are just some known, so the cardiovascular disease, we know about diabetes, metabolic syndrome, obesity. These things are all potentiated in people that do shift work. So I have this in here because we talked a little bit earlier about I feel like I'm tired or I feel like I'm awake. And we're not very good judges of how fatigued we truly are. And this is why we have risk assessments, and this is why we're developing that risk assessment for fatigue that you guys can take. So, and I actually have a meeting this Thursday on that, so hopefully I'll have some good news. So something about our cognitive vulnerabilities. In our prefrontal cortex is where a lot of our higher reasoning and functioning skills are located, I guess. So it orchestrates, so your executive functions orchestrate thoughts and actions that facilitate the attainment of individual chosen goals. So if you guys have a goal in mind, you want to do something, this is the part of your brain that actually helps you to make the right choice and help you attain that goal. So it's higher level reasoning. I thought it was interesting. It's actually the last part of your brain to develop. It doesn't fully develop until you're 25 years old. And so reading through this, I started reading through the different phases. I'm like, oh, there's Gavin, there's Grady. Like, it completely explains why adolescents act the way they do and why they make some of the risky choices that they make. So with this, I kind of wanted to help explain it further. Think of an example. So in this, I want you guys to think about, like, right now it's the New Year's resolutions and blah, blah, blah. A lot of people are choosing to not eat as much or to lose weight, to exercise, whatever. So I want you to imagine somebody puts a piece of cake in front of you and you have to choose to eat it or not eat it. Or, Greg made me this cake. Or, so with the medications, I think your patient's got maybe an aortic dissection, you have to put them on a med or not put them on a med, okay? And so these are the functions that or executive function, this is what they do. So they help you to differentiate between what's good and bad, what's better and best, what's sane and different, And so here's where we start getting into what really affects us. Future consequences of current activities. So if you're thinking you want to eat that cake, or do you want to attain your goal of, you know, whatever your goal was, maybe I'm trying to lose 10 pounds or something. And then prediction outcomes. So we use this part of our brain a lot, and unfortunately when we're fatigued, this is one of the first things to hit. So sleep debt, I'm not pretty familiar with this, but it's the sum of your missed hours. So if you missed 2 hours of sleep last night, you're 2 hours behind, you got to pay that back. There is actually a bank, so to speak, in your body. So this is cumulative, and this banker keeps track of how many hours of sleep you've missed. You do need to pay it back. Fortunately, he's a nice guy, and you don't have to pay it back at the same rate. So if you miss 2 hours of sleep, you may only have to pay it back at 1 hour of extra sleep, but you will have to pay it back. And you will, generally this is required over the next 2 nights. So it's not in one night. So, and then, what else we talk about that? I forgot. But anyway, can you guys guess which part of your brain is affected when it comes to sleep debt?
Prefrontal cortex.
Ah, look at you. That's why you're in charge. Yeah. So we'll come back to that.
You should do like a 2-hour lecture on neuro stuff.
And so this is one of those research examples again. So they took these people, they kept them awake, and you can see they took scans of their brain, and so these guys had some hypoactivity up front with normal sleep, but these are the guys that were sleep deprived and they had more. And so you can see where, again, it's kind of that frontal area of our body that helps us to make good decisions. All right, so the old alcohol and fatigue. So as we drink, so on this side over here, we have your performance, which you want to be at 0. 0 is good apparently. And then as we go to the right, we become more intoxicated. And so we all understand this from college very well. The more you drink, the stupider you are. Well, that's what we found is with fatigue, so this is hours awake now, and then again, performance is over here, performance is 0. So when we get out to about hours 14 and 15, we're doing pretty good yet. But there's a pretty sharp decline when we get to hours 15. You can start to see that at some point we start to mimic being intoxicated. And a 0.4 on this scale is right here. And so if we follow that over, about the 16-hour mark, we're at a 0.4 PA equivalent. Hour 20, we're actually at a 0.1. So you can see why doing 24-hour shifts, why places like Cames, and why they're starting to really frown upon this. That why a 12-hour shift is probably the best idea for us, and why doing a 24-hour shift is not a good idea. Just real quick, some signs and symptoms. So you'll see you're starting to get more forgetful. You're not going to make as great of decisions, which now I understand that's related to the prefrontal cortex. Slowed reaction time, it could be the same thing. Reduced vigilance. Poor communication, not going to talk as well. You can get fixated, apathetic, tired, lethargic, bad mood, nodding off. So can't imagine anybody here getting a bad mood. So what can we do about it? There is no simple solution to workplace fatigue. So it's kind of divided into 2 categories. There's the preventative countermeasures and the operational countermeasures. Preventative countermeasures are things that you do before you get to work. Operational are things you're doing at work. So preventative strategies, napping, sleeping. You want to minimize sleep loss. If you're coming into a stretch of a bunch of nights or something, don't come in tired. Make sure you're getting good sleep the nights before you're coming in here, so that you don't have any of that sleep debt that you need to overcome. Because after nights 4, 5, 6, you're going to have a lot of sleep debt to deal with at that point. So don't come into work already tired. If you can, get the 2 nights of unrestricted sleep. That's how you're going to erase that sleep debt completely. Sleep more than once. Sleep as often as you can or are able to. And then take advantage of your circadian lows. So your circadian lows in the daytime is between 2 and 5 p.m. At night, you're starting to get really tired at 11, but your true circadian low at night is from 2 to 5 at night. So what does a nap do for you? It improves your alertness and productivity. So if you're tired and you take a nap, you'll actually be more alert, more productive after the nap. If you're going to be interrupted after 45 minutes, you want to limit it to 45 minutes. And that's because we don't want to get into that REM phase of sleep. Once you get into REM phase, then it's actually much more difficult to wake up. So limit to 45 minutes. And 2-hour nap will allow you to complete one complete cycle. When you take a nap, it reduces that continuous wakefulness. And so you guys remember the scale, that was, so as we were awake longer and longer, we became more intoxicated, so to speak. Taking a nap actually resets that. And of course, getting some sleep is better than none. So NASA and the FAA did a research study on these long-haul pilots that were in the aircraft for long periods of time. And they took 2 groups of people. They said, this group, you guys stay awake, do what you always do. This group, we're going to allow you to have a 40-minute nap. And so they were able to sleep for 93%, or able to take a nap 93% of the time. And of that, they could sleep for 23 minutes. And what they found out is they performed better and they reacted better. They were more alert. So they showed that taking a nap does in fact improve alertness and productivity. So again, preventive strategies, sleep hygiene, that's just simply how do you go to sleep. So it's your routine before going to bed. So it's where do you go to sleep? Is it a cool, dark area? Is it the same place? Is it quiet? Do you brush your teeth? And like it's your routine that you have before you go to bed. So it's interesting, blue light is one of those light wavelengths that actually resets and actually decreases your melatonin levels. And so they're finding that, iPads and all these electronic lights, they emit all kinds of light, but blue light actually that comes out of there will decrease the amount of melatonin, so you have a less chance of falling asleep. So I need to talk to Michelle about this. She does this all the time.
There's a sleep setting on your phone too, which gets rid of the blue light.
Is that what it
I
is?
don't know if everyone knew it, but yeah, it changes from blue light.
That's
to
why it's
actual
yellow.
light.
Okay.
Yeah.
It took me a while to figure out, I'm like, blue light, why blue light? And then I started thinking about it, I'm like, well, the sky's blue. Makes sense.
Get mine turned on. Yeah, mine kicks on it.
Yeah. So anyway, so the blue light will actually keep you awake longer. Exercise, you want to avoid strenuous exercise 6 hours beforehand. Eat a balanced diet. As far as the environment you want to sleep in, you want it cool, dark, and quiet. No surprise there. Alcohol is the most common sleep aid, and a BA of 0.02 will suppress REM sleep, which remember is that sleep that we really need that allows our brain to kind of rejuvenate. We have a disruptive and lighter sleep. Caffeine, of course, will keep us up. Typically stimulate you for 3 to 5 hours, and nicotine does the same thing. So operational countermeasures. So these are the things we'll be doing actively at work to help us out. So we do this to enhance alertness, performance, and temporarily maintain operational safety. So this is not a fix, this is a Band-Aid. So what can you do? Having conversations help. So if you're out flying around and everybody's kind of doing their own thing, not talking, try starting up a conversation that will actually bring everybody's alertness level up a little bit. Talk to the crew. Lack of social interaction and conversation is a predictor of declining alertness. So, as you guys are talking out there. Physical activity, it's actually one of the most effective methods, so you could try doing something in the office. Stretching, isometrics, all that stuff. Yeah, I guess even chewing gum. And then bright lights help to reduce that melatonin level.
It used to drive me crazy in the ICU, like you had that
Nights
light or
turn the
something
lights
to make
down.
everything dark. Don't do that.
Tired.
You know.
Yeah. So then, of course, caffeine is a countermeasure. So I just got to put the little picture up there so you guys can kind of see how much you're consuming, but we all know what caffeine does. So last one, red flags. So working during the sleepy time of the day, if you're working a night shift, you're going to be tired, you're going to be fatigued. If you worked over 14 hours a day, that's a red flag. You guys remember that continuous wakefulness and how sharply it declines at approximately the 14, 15 hour mark. 10 or fewer off-duty hours. So if you're not getting the time off from work to kind of rejuvenate, reset, go through REM cycles, get rid of sleep debt, you're going to be at risk. Little or no time off in the previous 7 days. Working long hours frequently. So less than 7 hours of sleep in the prior to your duty shift. Irregular schedules, alcohol to promote sleep, and then relying on caffeine. So that's it.
Nice. Do you have any concern networks this month?
There weren't any.
Alright.
There hasn't been a concern network since like December 3rd. Something like that.
Jake, any reach updates? No reach updates? Janice, I think the ball's